Hello everyone, welcome back to Civil Learning Online. And guys, today in this video, I'm gonna discuss about the cantilever method. Here I have selected a numerical which is the same numerical which I have solved using the portal frame method in my previous video. Link is in the description, you can have a look. And today I'm going to solve that same numerical problem using the cantilever method. And if you watch the both video together, then it is going to enhance your concept based upon the approximate method of frame analysis. And guys, without any further delay, let's get started and let's just begin the solution with step 1. So guys, moving toward the solution of this numerical, first of all, let us have a look towards the assumption which are made for the cantilever method. And there are basically two assumptions for the cantilever method, and sometime it is asked in exam in 2 marks. So have a look about, you need to consider, keep in mind the assumption for both the cantilever method and portal frame method. So moving toward the first assumption, and the first assumption says that point of contraflexure occurs at the middle point of the various members. Means the point of contraflexure of this beam Mn is at the midpoint of Mn. Similarly, point of contraflexure for Mi is at the midpoint of Mi. And similarly, it varies for each and every beam and column of the frame. And if you ask me what is point of contraflexure, means point of contraflexure is a point where the sign of bending moment diagram changes. Means if our bending moment diagram is positive, then at point of contraflexure it changes from positive to negative. Similarly, if it is negative, then it changes from negative to positive at point of contraflexure. That point is called contraflexure. So second is, direct stresses in the column are proportional to their distances from the centroidal vertical axis of the frame. Now here we need to, that there are 2 points. First one is the direct stresses, and I am going to show you how to calculate the direct stresses. And second one is the centroidal vertical axis of the frame. Now see here, centroidal vertical axis of the frame will be the centroidal axis of this whole columns. Home column means M, I, E, A, N, J, F, B, O, K, G, C, P, L, H, D. This whole column or the whole frame has a definite centroidal vertical axis, and I am going to show you how to calculate that the centroidal vertical axis here. And it says that centroidal vertical axis of the frame is direct stress is proportional to that centroidal vertical axis. So first of all, let us move toward the step 1, and in step 1 we will be calculating or locating that centroidal axis first, and then we will calculate, after locating the centroidal axis, we will calculate the centroidal vertical distance from each column up to that centroidal axis. So let us see how that is done. And here comes step 1. So here is step 1, location of centroidal axis. And for locating the centroidal axis, write a line here. Let the centroidal axis be at distance x bar from the reference column I am taking reference column MIEA. So students, whenever you are solving the numerical based upon using the cantilever method, first of all you need to locate the that centroidal axis, and we need to take a reference column, and always take the left hand extreme column as the reference column. So here, as per the solution of this method of solving this numerical, our reference column is MIEA, and our centroidal axis will be here somewhere. Plot it here. And distance of the centroidal axis, this axis from this reference column MIEA is x bar. This is what we have written here. Now guys, After doing this, we need to proceed in the similar way like we used to find the CZ in strength of material. So let us assume that the cross sectional area of this column is A. Similarly, of this column is also A, this column is also A, and this column is also A. Means here we will have total of 4A, and it is multiplied by X bar will be equals to, now see here guys, what we are doing, we are multiplying the cross sectional area with the distance up to the CZ. Means this whole area, this I have considered that the area of this whole frame is 4A, and the CZ is at distance X bar from the reference column for your convenience. Now what we can do here, see here, we have the cross sectional area of this column as A, so A multiplied by, this is our reference column, means we are calculating the distance from this column, so distance of the CZ from this column is going to be 0, because we are considering this column, and this is our reference column, so it is multiplied by 0. Now we are here in this column, so again here area is A, and the distance from the reference column is 5 meters, so 5 plus here area is again A, and the distance from the reference column up to this column is going to be 5 plus 5, so 10 plus, now time for column PLHD, so area is A, and distance from the reference column up to this column is going to be 15 meter. This is similar to the step what we used to do while calculating the CZ of different shapes in strength of material. Now from here calculate the value of X bar. So on calculating the X bar, we will have X bar equals to, how we can do here, see here, so simply add this is going to be 10 plus 5 plus 15, means 30A divided by this 4A. So from here we will get 7.5 meter, means here our X bar is going to be 7.5 meter, means the centroidal axis of this whole frame is at distance 7.5 meter from the extreme left extreme column. Now let X bar equals to X1, and X1 is the distance of the column from the column 1 from the centroidal axis. Similarly, let this be X2, means X2 is the distance of this second whole column from this centroidal axis. Similarly, let this be X3, distance of this third column from this centroidal axis. Similarly, let this be X4, distance of this extreme column, right hand extreme column from this centroidal axis. So now using this value of X bar, we will have here X bar is going to be equals to X1, so we will write here, therefore X bar will be equals to X1 equals to 7.5 meter. Now after calculating X1, we need to calculate X2, so X2 will be equals to this whole span up to here, from here to here, it is 7.5 meter, and this much portion is 5 meter. So we can easily get this value. How? Simply subtract 7.5 minus 5 meter, and we will get this portion, this span from here to here, that is the value of X2 equals to 2.5 meter. Now time to calculate X3. So guys, see here, this whole span is 5 meter, and we have got X2 value equals to 2.5 meter. So our X3 is going to be this whole span 5 minus 2.5, which will be equals to 2.5 meter. This is the value of X3. Similarly, for X4, what we need to do is, we have X4 means 5 plus this span, this whole span from here to here, plus this much span, and we have got this much span as 2.5, so it is going to be 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 5 meter. It is going to be 7.5 meter. Now here comes the application of second second assumption, and that is direct stresses in the column are proportional to their vertical distances from the centroidal axis of the frame. See here, if we consider that the vertical direct stresses in each column, that is first column is V1, and the direct stress in second column is V2, direct stress in third column is V3, and direct stress in fourth column is V4, then these are going to be proportional to their distances from the centroidal axis, and the distance of the first column from the centroidal axis is x1, so V1 upon x1 will be equals to V2 upon x2 will be equals to V3 upon x3 will be equals to V4 upon x4. Now guys, what we need to do is put the value of x1, x2, x3, x4 and calculate the value of V2, V3, V4 in terms of V1. Now see here how we can do this. So what I have done here, I have taken this first and second ratio together here. Now we need to calculate the value of V2 in terms of V1. So bring this 2.5 here because it is in division, so when it crosses the equal to sign, then it gets converted into multiply. So 2.5 multiplied by V1 and divided by 7.5 will be equals to V2, so we will get V2 equals to 0.33 V1. Similarly, we take this V3 and this first and third ratio. So from here we will have V1 by 7.5 will be equals to V3 upon 2.5. From here again we will have V3 equals to 2.5 multiplied by V1 divided by 7.5, and on solving this we will get V3 equals to 0.33 V1. And similarly, if we take first and third ratio, then from here we will have V1 upon 7.5 equals to V4 upon 7.5, and this 7.5 gets cancelled, so we will have V4 equals to V1. These are the conditions which we will be frequently needing while solving this numerical. Now let us move toward the step 2.